Hello and welcome to the Amped EV podcast. My name is David. I am the editor for The Buzz, and we are speaking with two guests today. The first is Brett Gressley. He is the Vice President of Global Partnerships and Business Development at Wallbox. And the second is Yakov Berenstein. He is the Director of Automotive and Charging Partnerships at Weavegrid. Let's get to the interview. Brett, Yakov, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here today. I want to get right into talking about this really cool partnership. Yakov, can you give us kind of an overview of, what this partnership, you're obviously with Weavegrid, can you tell us what this partnership with Wallbox is all about and why it is so important?
Yeah, for sure. Maybe I could start with a little bit of the bigger picture here. Mm-hmm. With vehicle electrification, we are seeing big increasing new power demands. Obviously, with millions of new EVs on the road means lots more power consumption. And on the one hand, we have to make sure that that new generation is renewable to the extent possible if we really want to meet sort of the grand vision of electrification as a path to decarbonization. That being said, also deeply important from sort of a more immediate and critical infrastructure perspective is our need to intelligently manage EV charging at really a hyperlocal level to ensure the resilience and security of that last mile electric distribution grid that feeds into your apartment building or your cul-de-sac. It's that kind of local system that's actually immensely strained as soon as 3 or 4 EVs show up and start charging at the same time in the same place. And so when you look at our partnership, Wallbox makes some really slick hardware like the Pulsar Plus connected charger, and they've taken a very tech-forward approach in designing both the driver UX on the front end and the charger management capabilities that sit on the back end. And so what Weavegrid can do is tap into those data interfaces, tap into those charge scheduling capabilities, and some of the driver UX features, and we can then package those integrations with our patented grid management technology. And together, we provide this variety of grid services to utilities to really solve for that huge range of sort of opportunities and challenges they have emerging from this wave of EV adoption that we're seeing.
And why do you think this kind of partnership is so important as, the electrification continues to strain the grid in the U.S. especially? Why are partnerships like this so important?
Yeah, for a number of reasons. A big one for us, and this is, I think, part of the big shared value between Wallbox and Weavegrid, is that making sure that drivers are kind of front and center of this transition. There's a very academic approach one can take to this sort of problem. It's looking at vehicles purely as batteries on wheels, and drivers as just sort of an inconvenient human element to this problem of balancing out the batteries on those vehicles. I think the perspective that Wallbox and Weavegrid both have, and again, part of that sort of shared value that led to this partnership, is that we really need to make sure that this is a good driver experience, and that's going to be sort of manifested in this partnership and the way we take the complex needs of the utilities in balancing out the grid and translate them into driver behavior and engagement through interaction via Wallbox.
Makes a lot of sense. Brett, what from your perspective, what kind of motivated Wallbox to engage in this partnership with Weavegrid? And then especially, I want you to talk about the context of the Xcel Energy Charging Perks program that exists in Colorado.
Sure. Yeah, first of all, Colorado is a really robust EV market. There's a really strong move toward electrification in Colorado, and Weavegrid made the perfect partner to really go after that managed charging program in Colorado. The program offers a lot of direct benefits to consumers, $100 for sign-up incentive. There's also a annual incentive program at the end, and it allows you to use renewable energy, for instance, wind, to charge your vehicles. So that, and then also, the whole move towards electrification requires you to manage that charging. And our chargers, along with Weavegrid, enables you to shift charging times from, for instance, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. and you save money as a result.
Fantastic. Yakov, obviously a lot of renewable energy sources, they can be a bit variable. They're not necessarily just a constant, steady stream. How does Weavegrid's platform handle this kind of variability?
Sure, yeah. I'll maybe start with sort of a tactical answer and then bigger picture. With respect to this joint deployment with Wallbox in Colorado, Weavegrid works with the utility in this case, and we receive a forecast from the utility for basically overnight wind power. We ingest that into our algorithms, and then we're able to produce customized charge schedules for each driver and push those to each driver's device and make sure that they get a full charge overnight and make sure that charge is as much as much out of wind power as possible. That being said, that's just one application that we're pursuing. So with Wallbox as a partner on our platform, we're able to be quite agnostic to various applications. In this Colorado example, it's about renewable energy. In another case, it's going to be about peak load reduction, sort of regardless of the specific power generation. In other cases, it's going to be on that really sort of hyperlocal level of put aside what the generation's doing. If there's 6 to 8 vehicles trying to charge on one local transformer, we're going to need to talk to those vehicles via their Wallbox chargers and make sure that they balance out and take a more optimal path to charging for that evening. So the renewables is one really exciting angle, and that's kind of part of our connectivity to the utility in this particular case. But bigger picture, by working both with device partners like Wallbox and then working with utility systems, we have this sort of end-to-end integration that allows us to be as agnostic as possible.
Yeah. Brett, from Wallbox's perspective, do you see the charger itself that these vehicle owners are using? Do you see that as being a possible barrier to entry for EVs? How do you design that hardware to make it as easy as possible for people to transition? Maybe they didn't have an EV before, now they're going into there. And then, kind of a part two to this, obviously we're talking a lot about working with renewable energy. Is this, according to your data, is this important for consumers? Are consumers asking for the ability to do this more and more often?
Yeah, I would say it's hardware and software, both of those components working together. Ease of use is really important. That's what Wallbox is known for. We have our software teams. We design, develop, and manufacture all of our chargers in-house at our factories in Arlington, Texas, in Europe, and we have our own software team. So we offer a fully integrated solution, and that enables really simplicity and ease of use when controlling and managing that charger. And the smart charging is an important element of that. That helps save costs and be able to decide which type of energy you want to use. You can use grid, you can use solar, you can use a combination of wind and solar, and that will help manage your own needs as a customer. And then, 80% of all charging happens at home. So, and many, homeowners do favor, the use of renewable energy. And our new Quasar 2 product is coming out, launching with the Kia EV9 very soon. And a customer will be able to use their energy to power their vehicle as well as power their home in the future. So that'll be an exciting new product coming here this year in 2024.
That's fantastic. And can you give us an example of why a consumer might want to favor maybe energy from the grid as opposed to renewable energy, or the other way around?
I would say depending on the time of charge, obviously at night, you wouldn't favor solar. But during the day, when you're maybe working from home, you might use your solar energy. And same thing with grid. But you can also use that energy, charge it up in your batteries, and then use that excess energy at a later point as well. So it's a continuous cycle that our chargers are optimized to participate in.
Got it. Thank you. Yakov, when we're talking about this Charging Perks program and possibly expanding this to the rest of the nation, what sorts of challenges do you see having to overcome to be able to do something like that?
Sure, yeah. Probably the most common challenge in serving electric utilities in general is just how fragmented that industry is. There are around 3,000 electric utilities in the country. And even if you boil those down to, say, the top 300 or so reasonably sized ones, there are still 50 states that each have their own public utility regulator that sets the rules. So you just have this intersection of sort of levers of complexity. And it begs the question of, are these programs, scalable or replicable between utilities? The fortunate answer is they are. There are common paradigms that are used across utilities for these types of programs. Some of those are adopted from sort of legacy programs around energy efficiency and demand response or renewable energy. But there are new paradigms emerging with respect to EVs. And the exciting thing is that Weavegrid has sort of a strong stance in those policy discussions, and so does Wallbox. And we collaborate with partners like Wallbox on that sort of policy and regulatory realm. So we're active in whether it's Colorado or states like California or elsewhere, where we're actually working with the utilities, working with regulators to make sure that these are sort of scalable programs into the future. So these things are accelerating, and I think we're going to have a number of more wins with Wallbox under our belts here soon.
Congrats! That's really, really exciting. And Brett, as this partnership evolves and as these different programs evolve and get stronger and larger, what does your partnership look like? How does your partnership evolve with that?
Yeah, I really think we're at the beginning of our partnership. As we build out our product lines and add more product lines like the Quasar 2 and Weavegrid expands into various utilities, I think it'll be a phenomenal relationship moving forward.
Fantastic. Well, thank you both for being on the show today. Really appreciate it. I mean, this is really exciting stuff where we're seeing programs like this expand and get larger and more people buying into them. So just really appreciate you giving us everything on this, and really appreciate you being on the show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Okay, that was a fantastic conversation. It's exciting to see partnerships like this evolve to help remove those barriers to EV adoption. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll catch you next time.